The sound drags you out of sleep before your brain can even name it. It is not one thing. It is a stack of things. A door slam, somebody yelling in the hall, a car horn stuck down outside, then a hard thump that travels through the walls and makes the picture frame over the dresser rattle. For a second the mind tries to bargain. Maybe it is a fight. Maybe a drunk neighbor. Maybe a crash in the lot. Normal explanations, fast, because normal is easier. Then the yelling outside turns into a short scream that cuts off mid-breath and the bargaining stops. No light goes on. That is the first decision. Not a heroic one. Just practical. The bedroom stays dim and quiet. Feet find the jeans on the floor and step into them. Hands move by muscle memory, not courage. The phone on the nightstand is already lit up. A pile of notifications. A red banner that says, "Emergency alert," but the message is frozen half-loaded. Something about a public safety incident. Something about sheltering in place. Then nothing. Signal bars are gone. Wi-Fi shows connected, but nothing loads. A quick flip to airplane mode and back. Nothing. Again. Still nothing. It would be easy to sit there and keep doing it, hoping the screen will suddenly tell you it was all a mistake. The hallway outside has its own life. Muffled voices. Two people arguing, one angry, one frightened. The frightened voice starts crying. That crying turns into a wet cough. Then the sound of something hitting a door, over and over, in a rhythm that is not a fist. It is heavier, sloppier. The bedroom door gets locked. It is a cheap lock. It buys seconds, not safety. Seconds still matter. Shoes come next, because bare feet are a good way to turn a bad day into a bleeding day. Sneakers, tied tight. No sandals. The front door is checked without opening it. Deadbolt turned, chain set. Fingers test the hardware and confirm it is seated. The peephole stays dark. Only then does the window get a look, and even that is done with caution. No blinds yanked up, just a thin gap between slats from a step back, keeping the face out of the glass. The parking lot below looks wrong. Not movie wrong, real wrong. Two cars stopped at odd angles, as if their drivers bailed mid-turn. A woman stands barefoot on the pavement, phone held out, turning in circles, mouth open as if she is speaking to someone who cannot hear her. A dog barks inside a car with a cracked window, desperate and constant. Near the far end of the lot, two people are on the ground. One is on top of the other. The person on top is not punching. Their head moves in short, violent jerks. The person underneath kicks, then stops kicking. The blind slats close again, not because you cannot handle it, because staring at it does not help. This is the part most people mess up. They watch. They stand there gathering details while the situation gathers speed. Inside the apartment, the air is still calm. That calm is a resource. Use it. A quick inventory starts, and it is boring on purpose. Food, water, medicine, light. A way out if the building turns bad. Cabinets open quietly. A pile forms on the counter. Crackers, peanut butter, trail mix, 2 cans of soup, protein bars. Nothing glamorous. The point is calories that do not require a stove. The faucet runs. Water is still there. It runs for 3 seconds, then goes off because sound carries through thin walls. Every container gets filled. Pots, bottles, a pitcher, travel cups. It feels silly for about 10 seconds until you picture the faucet coughing air later. A backpack comes out of the closet. It is a normal backpack, not a tactical thing. The junk gets dumped on the floor. Receipts, pens, a loose cable. The cable gets kept. The rest stays. First aid kit goes in. Bandages, gauze, tape, pain meds, any prescriptions. Then 2 extra pairs of socks. Socks are easy to forget until your feet are wet and torn up. Protection matters more than people think. Not armor, simple barriers. Thick dishwashing gloves from under the sink. Safety glasses from a toolbox. If there are no safety glasses, sunglasses will still keep something out of your eyes. A small flashlight gets tested. It works, but dim. It still goes in. A lighter, duct tape. Not because duct tape is magic, but because it solves problems quickly without needing a hardware store. Now the hard part hits. The decision nobody wants. Stay or leave. Staying means walls, a locked door, water on hand, some food. It also means shared hallways, shared stairwells, shared problems. Leaving means distance from the building chaos. Maybe a better location. Maybe a friend's place. Maybe somewhere with a yard and fewer neighbors. Leaving also means exposure, unknown crowds, unknown roads. This is where people lie to themselves. They tell themselves they have time. They tell themselves they will just run to the store real quick. They tell themselves that getting out into the open will calm things down. Another crash hits somewhere in the building, something heavy. Then a voice that sounds closer than it should, shouting one clear word that finally lands through the wall. Help. The sound right after that is worse. It is a struggle, and then a wet gagging noise, and then another scream. That scream doesn't fade as someone runs away. It ends abruptly, like a switch. The backpack gets put on, not because leaving is decided, because if the decision flips fast, scrambling will get you hurt. A quick check of the apartment's weak points starts. Front door is solid enough for now. Windows are a risk if someone throws something or tries to climb. The bathroom is interior and could serve as a fallback if something gets inside, but it is also a trap if the front door fails. A second phone attempt, still dead, so the old option comes out, the car radio, if the car is accessible, if the lot is not a feeding ground. Another look through the blind gap. The woman in the lot is now walking in a slow, confused loop. The dog is still barking. A man near a pickup is yelling into his phone, arm shaking. The two bodies on the far end have been joined by a third person who is kneeling too close, hands out, touching, trying to help, not understanding what they are touching. A shape moves behind the kneeling person. A quick lunge. The kneeling person goes down with a shout. The shout turns into a gurgle. The brain tries to call it a mugging, a drug thing, anything, but it looks wrong. Too animal, too direct. You step away from the window. The decision shifts. The car can wait. The building is now the immediate problem. The apartment goes quiet on purpose. Television stays off. No music. No loud calls. The best defense right now is not being interesting. This is where most people waste hours. They text everyone they know until the phone dies. They scroll social media. They argue with strangers online. That feels productive because it is movement. It is not productive. Instead, you listen, and you map the building through sound. Someone on the floor above is running. Someone below is pounding on a door. A baby is crying somewhere down the hall. Then the crying stops and the silence after it is sharp. The peephole finally gets used. Just a quick glance. The hall is empty in front of your door, but at the far end near the stairwell, a figure stumbles against the wall. Slow, jerky. One arm hangs wrong. Their head is angled down. They pause, then bump their forehead into a neighbor's door once, then twice. Then they slide along the wall. It looks drunk for half a second until the person turns slightly and the face comes into view. Something is smeared dark around the mouth. The eyes are unfocused, but not sleepy. They look hungry and disconnected at the same time. A door opens 2 apartments down. A man steps out holding his phone up, filming, talking loudly. He says, "Bro, what is happening?" Loud enough that it might as well be an invitation. The stumbling figure reacts. The head snaps toward the sound. Not curious, not cautious. It moves fast, then faster, and the man filming freezes in that dumb way people freeze when they cannot accept what they are seeing. The man tries to back up, trips on his own threshold, and the figure hits him hard. There is yelling, struggling, a short burst of wet choking sounds. The man's phone clatters on the carpet and the screen keeps recording, while the sound turns into something lower and uglier. Your body goes cold, not panic cold, focus cold. That is the moment this stops being something going on outside and becomes, it is in the building. Backing away from the door, you go straight to the kitchen and grab the heaviest tool you own that can be swung without needing training. A cast iron pan, a hammer, a thick flashlight, not a knife. Knives look useful until you realize they keep you close to teeth and hands. Distance is safety. Then another thing people skip, the exit plan. Not, I'll just run. An actual route. If the front door becomes unsafe, the window is next. If the window is next, how do you get down? Second story? Third? Rope? Sheets? That is how people break ankles. You check your floor. Second floor. Too high to jump safely, too low to feel secure. Great. There is an old set of bedsheets in the closet. They are not rope. They are fabric that tears. Still, they can be braided and used for controlled descent if you have to. Not perfect. Better than nothing. You start knotting them now while you still have calm hands. Outside in the hall, the struggling noises continue, then stop, replaced by chewing sounds that are faint but unmistakable through the door. Something scrapes along the carpet, then a slow shuffle. That shuffle drifts down the corridor and away from your door. That is a gift. It will not last. Now comes the next decision. Stay quiet and hope the building calms down, or leave while there is still daylight and the stairs might still be passable. Staying has advantages. You have water. You have food. You can barricade. You can outlast a short spike of chaos. Leaving early can be smart too, but only if you leave with purpose and a safe destination. Wandering outside with a backpack is not a plan. It is a way to end up in the wrong crowd. A destination needs to be realistic. In Columbus, the first places to go bad will be the big public magnets. Grocery stores, gas stations, big box stores, hospitals, anywhere people run toward when they are scared. So the best early destination is not supplies. It is fewer people. A place with a solid door, lower foot traffic, and a reason nobody else will rush there in the first hour. That can be a small office building, a friend's house on a quiet street, a storage unit if you already have one and can get in without joining a crowd. But there is a problem. You do not know if the roads are moving. You do not know if the bridges and ramps are jammed. You do not know if the police are setting up checkpoints or if they are already gone. And your phone is dead, so calling ahead is not an option. The best information source right now is old school, radio. The car is down there. The lot looks dangerous. But there might be another way. The building's shared areas, the maintenance room, the lobby. Some apartment buildings have a small office with a battery radio, or a neighbor might have one. Knocking on doors is a terrible idea. People answer with fear, or they do not answer at all, or they open the door and bring danger into the hallway. So instead of knocking, you listen for the right kind of neighbor. The quiet one. The one who is moving with intention, not yelling. A door opens somewhere, soft, controlled. Footsteps. Someone walking, not running. A woman's voice. Low, talking to someone inside. Not screaming, not crying. Just short sentences. Here's the rule that matters, and it's ugly. In the first day, most people are not allies. They are unknown variables. Unknown variables are danger, but complete isolation is also danger, because a single mistake with no backup ends the day fast. So you compromise. You do not open your door wide. You do not step into the hall. You crack the door an inch with the chain on and listen. The hallway smells faintly metallic now, not strong, just enough to notice. The carpet looks darker near the neighbor's doorway where the filming guy fell. His phone is still on the floor, screen cracked, still glowing. At the far end, the woman is near her door, leaning out, looking both ways. She is holding something long in both hands. Not a gun. A broom handle with the end wrapped in something dark. Maybe a towel, maybe tape. She looks toward your door, sees the crack, and freezes. Then she raises her free hand slowly, palm out, a quiet, "I'm not rushing you" signal. She speaks softly. "Are you okay in there?" This is where a lot of people make a pride decision. They either trust too fast because they are lonely, or they refuse all contact because they are scared. Both are emotional choices. Emotional choices get punished on day one. You answer, just loud enough for her to hear, not loud enough to advertise. "I'm okay, trying to stay quiet. Did you see what happened?" She nods without looking away from the stairwell. "I saw enough. Something's wrong. It's not just fighting. People aren't stopping. They're doing stuff. Biting." Hearing the word said out loud makes it more real. You feel stupid for how quickly the brain wants to reject it. But the evidence is sitting in the hallway, and it is not asking permission to be believed. She continues, "My phone died. No service. I can't get anything to load." You say, "Same. Do you have a radio?" She hesitates, then says, "Car, but I'm not going down there." "Neither am I," you tell her, and it's the truth. She shifts her grip on the broom handle weapon. "What's your plan?" There is no perfect answer, so you give the most honest one. Short term, stay alive in here. Water's running. I filled everything. I'm thinking about night. She nods again, slower. I filled my tub. That's a good move. You can tell she is thinking. That matters more than bravery. Thinking neighbors are the only ones worth talking to. She glances toward the stairwell. If the building goes bad, the roof access is up another flight. There's a door at the end of the hall. I've seen maintenance go up there. Roof access. That's useful. Not as a permanent plan, but as a temporary escape route if the hall becomes a feeding corridor. Roof also gives sightlines. It also traps you if the door locks behind you. Every option has teeth. What's your name? She asks. You give it. She gives hers. Tara. It feels weird to exchange names while someone is possibly getting eaten in the building, but names make coordination possible. Coordination is survival. You don't have to become friends. You just need to become predictable. Tara says, if you hear me knock twice and then pause, that's me, not banging. If I'm running, I'm not knocking. You answer. Same signal back. 2 knocks. Pause. Then she backs into her apartment and closes the door gently. The hallway is quiet again for a moment, except for a faint dragging sound somewhere below. It is slow, but it is moving. You shut your door and lock everything again. Then you take the next step that feels paranoid until it saves you. You remove the welcome mat and put it inside, because mats slide under feet. You clear the entryway. You move the small table away from the door so if you have to brace it, you can do it fast. Barricading is tricky. People think, pile furniture against the door and call it done. But if you pile too much, you cannot open the door quickly if you need to escape. Barricades should slow an entry, not trap you. So you set it up as layers. The first layer is the lock. The second layer is a chair turned sideways under the handle, wedged into the wall and floor. The third layer is a heavy object that can be shoved in place in seconds if needed, not something that takes 5 minutes of grunting. You check the time. Late morning. It feels wrong that it's still daylight. Catastrophe is supposed to happen at night in stories. Real life doesn't care. A new sound rises outside. Sirens. Then more sirens. Then a helicopter that thumps across the sky. The helicopter sound fades, then comes back, circling. That means something is happening nearby that they care about. You look at your battery percentage. Not great. And no charging means your phone is now a limited resource, not a lifeline. You shut off everything you can, dim the screen, turn off background apps. You take screenshots of anything you have that might matter later, like an offline map, because if the phone is going to die, at least let it die useful. A thought hits. Shoes are on. Backpack is packed. A weapon is in hand. The only thing missing is information. The radio is still down in the car, but Tara mentioned roof access. Roof access also means you can look outward without standing at a window where someone might see your silhouette. It's risky to move through the hall, but the hall is currently quiet. Quiet is a window. Use the window or lose it. The backpack goes on. Gloves go on. Glasses go on. It feels ridiculous. Then the memory of that hallway attack plays again, and it stops feeling ridiculous. You open the door with the chain still on, and listen. Nothing close. The chain comes off. The door opens just enough to slip out. It closes behind you quietly. Lock it. Not because it will save your stuff, because you might need it again. The hallway carpet has a dark smear near the neighbor's threshold now. The phone on the floor is still lit, but dimmer. You step around it without looking down too long. Stairwell door is at the end. Those heavy metal doors always slam if you let them. You don't let it. You pull it open and slip inside, controlling the weight with your hand. The stairwell smells stale and concrete damp. Every sound echoes here. That's bad. You freeze halfway up the first flight and listen down. Something moves below. A shuffle. Then a quick scuff. Fast for a second. Then slow again. It's not a normal walk. You keep going up quietly, one step at a time. No rushing. Rushing makes noise. Noise makes problems. The roof access door is at the top of the next flight. A plain metal door with a push bar. You push gently. It opens. The roof is bright, windier, and for a second it feels safer just because there's space. Space is a lie. Space can still kill you. but it gives your brain room to think. From up here, Columbus looks normal in pieces and broken in pieces. Downtown towers in the distance, sun on glass. Then smoke rising from somewhere that should not be smoking. A line of cars on a main road that isn't moving. Sirens clustering toward one area. You scan for something specific. People moving in groups. Police vehicles. Anything that looks organized. You see none of that. You see scattered movement. Individuals running. Two people dragging something between them. A group of maybe 5 sprinting across an intersection and then splitting when one of them falls. That last part makes your stomach tighten. Not the fall, the split. Nobody turns back. That's how fast human priorities change when the fear is real. A loud crack pops from somewhere, then another. Not fireworks, too sharp, gunshots. Someone is firing at something they cannot control. The helicopter comes back, low, and you duck instinctively. It's not looking for you, but you don't want to be seen. The helicopter swings toward the smoke and disappears. You stay on the roof long enough to get the important lesson. There is no quick rescue coming. This is not a short incident. The systems are already bending. Back into the stairwell, controlled and quiet. The echo makes every foot placement feel loud. Halfway down, you stop again. The shuffling below is closer now. It is on the landing beneath you. You hold still, breathing shallow. The stairs smell stronger now, metallic and sour. A figure appears below, climbing awkwardly, hand on the rail, head twitching as if it is listening. It's a man in a work shirt, name tag still pinned. He looks injured, a torn cheek, blood around his mouth. He doesn't climb like someone trying to get home. He climbs like something pulled by hunger. He pauses and lifts his face toward you. His eyes don't focus on your face. They focus on your shape. He opens his mouth and breathes out a wet rasp. This is where people freeze because they don't want to hurt a human. But look at him. He isn't asking for help. He isn't talking. He's tracking. You back up one step quietly. He speeds up in response. That tells you everything. Slow movement triggers slow. Fast triggers fast. This is an animal rule, not a moral one. You don't run. You move controlled, but quick. One flight down, keeping your weight light. The door to the second floor hall is there. You slip through and pull it mostly shut behind you, not slamming it. Immediately, the pounding starts behind the stairwell door. The infected man hits its shoulder first, once, twice, 3 times. The door holds, for now. You're in the hallway again, and your door is down the corridor. That corridor suddenly feels long. Every apartment door is a mystery. Every crack of light under a door means someone might be inside, watching, waiting, panicking. Halfway to your apartment, Tara's door cracks open and she steps out, broom weapon in hand. She sees your face and reads it fast. "Stairwell," she whispers. You nod. Something's coming up it. She doesn't argue. She doesn't ask for details. She just says, "Inside, now." Your door opens, you slide in, and you lock it behind you. Tara stays in the hall, listening with her ear to the stairwell door. Then she backs into her own apartment, closes her door, and everything goes quiet again. The pounding on the stairwell door continues for a minute, then stops. Silence after violence is always bad. Silence usually means it found another route, or it got distracted by another person. You sit on the floor with your back to the kitchen cabinets and force yourself to drink water. Not because you're thirsty, because dehydration makes you stupid, and today stupidity gets you killed. Now the guide part kicks in without feeling like a lecture. The first day isn't about becoming a fighter, it's about controlling mistakes. Noise, exposure, bad timing, emotional decisions. The biggest temptation right now is the supply run. Everyone will think they need more food, more water, more everything. The truth is, you need information and a safer position more than you need another box of cereal. The store run is how people die in the first 24 hours. They walk into crowds, into parking lots, into fights over cases of water, and they don't even get the water. Your apartment has enough to last a short stretch. The building has risks, but it also has barriers. So the plan becomes simple for the next few hours. Stay quiet, stay inside, and wait for better information while preparing for the next decision window. You eat a protein bar slowly and listen again. Somewhere outside, tires squeal, then a crash, then shouting, multiple voices, then another scream. A faint, distant sound rises under it all. Not sirens, not people, something more chaotic. A low chorus, drifting and uneven, the sound of many throats making noise without words. That's when you realize something important. The infected aren't just dangerous up close. They change the entire soundscape. They turn the city into a place where you can't tell what's normal and what's lethal, unless you stay calm and pass it. You check the front door again, still intact. You check the peephole again. The hallway is empty now, but the stairwell door has a fresh scuff mark near the bottom, like someone dragged a shoe or scraped a heel. Then comes the knock. 2 knocks. A pause. 2 knocks again. You don't open right away. You speak through the door, low. Yeah? Tara's voice comes back, quiet. You got water? You answer honestly. I filled containers, some extra. She says, mine's still running, but I'm thinking ahead. Also, I found a battery radio. That sentence changes everything. Not because radio is magic, because it's the first piece of reliable one-way info that doesn't depend on cell towers. You crack the door with the chain on. Tara holds up a small radio in one hand, her weapon in the other. She looks tired already, eyes wide in that way that says she hasn't sat down since she woke up. I'm not staying in here alone, she says. And it isn't a plea. It's a practical statement. Not if something comes through doors. You think it through fast. 2 people make more noise. 2 people also mean someone can watch while the other sleeps. 2 people mean if one gets hurt, there's a chance the other can do something. The real risk is trust. The trust move isn't let her in and hope. The trust move is structure, rules, clear boundaries, predictable behavior. People can follow rules even when they can't promise friendship. You open the door wider and let her step in. Then you lock it again. The chain stays off now because you might need the door to open fast. The chair wedge becomes the backup. Tara sets the radio on the counter and turns it on low. Static. She scans. More static. Then a voice, clipped and strained, cutting in and out. Repeat. Shelter in place. Avoid contact with. Static. Aggressive individuals exhibiting violent behavior. Static. Do not attempt to render aid without protective equipment. The voice is trying to be calm, but you can hear the fear under it. The message repeats with slight variations, as if someone is updating a script in real time. Then comes the part that hits hardest. Emergency services are experiencing high call volume. Do not call 911 except for immediate life-threatening emergencies. That is the official way of saying, you are on your own. Tara looks at you, then away, jaw tight. So, now what? Now what is still the same, but sharper. Water, quiet, plan for night, avoid crowds. Don't go looking for a fight. Don't go looking for answers in public. You ask her a basic question that matters. Do you have anyone you need to get to? She hesitates. My sister is across town. She's texting me on my old phone, but it's spotty. I don't know if she's safe. Across town in the first day is not a casual drive. It's traffic, chaos, people abandoning cars, intersections turning into deadlocks. It's also the emotional trap. People will die trying to rescue someone who is already gone, or trying to reach someone who would be safer if nobody moved. You don't dismiss her. You also don't pretend it's simple. If the roads are jammed, we might not be able to reach her. We need a plan that doesn't depend on a clean drive. She nods once. I know. Another sound interrupts you. A thud against your front door. Light. Then another thud, heavier, and a scraping noise at the bottom edge. Both of you freeze. You step toward the door slowly and put your ear near it. No voices, no words, just breathing, wet and close, and then another thud. It's testing the door. The chair wedge slides into place under the handle. Tara grips her weapon tighter. You take the heavy pan in both hands, not because you want to swing it, because if the door opens, you need something that can knock a head back without needing perfect aim. The thuds continue, then stop. Silence again. Then a faint shuffle away. That is the second big lesson of the day. Doors matter. Solid doors buy time. People who leave their door unlocked because they're just going to check the hall are going to become part of the problem. You and Tara sit at the kitchen table without really sitting, bodies ready to spring. The radio murmurs repeating warnings. Outside, the building creaks, pipes settling, distant footsteps, a muffled shout somewhere below. Hours pass in a way that feels wrong. Time stretches, then snaps forward when a new sound hits. In the early afternoon, the power flickers once, lights dip, come back. The refrigerator hum changes pitch. Tara's eyes lock on the ceiling, listening. Power flickers again, longer, then it comes back. You don't celebrate. Flickering is the first stage of the grid getting hammered. People panic, hospitals overload, stations run on generators, lines get damaged. Power doesn't vanish in a clean movie moment, it degrades. Charge what you can now, you tell Tara, and you say it out loud because hearing it makes it real. Both of you plug in phones and battery packs, whatever you have. Not because you expect the internet to return, because light and stored power are leveraged later. Tara walks your apartment with her eyes scanning. This place is better than mine, she says quietly. What's wrong with yours? You ask. She shrugs. Window faces the lot, more visible. Also, the guy next to me was screaming earlier, then he stopped. That's enough. You don't need details. The building is becoming a map of silent threats. The afternoon drags on, and the radio finally gives something more concrete. A location list, areas to avoid, hospitals overwhelmed, advice to stay indoors, a warning about bites and bodily fluids. They don't say the word zombie. They don't have to. They say infected and aggressive. Tara whispers, so it spreads. Probably, you say, at least through bites, maybe more. Here's the ugly logic. If it spreads, then the crowd is not just dangerous because people are violent. The crowd is dangerous because a single infected person can create multiple infected in minutes, and then the crowd becomes a feeding event. That means your safest move is staying out of everyone's way, not being a hero, not being a spectator, staying out. Late afternoon, the shouting outside intensifies. It's closer to the building now. You hear car doors slamming, someone yelling, "Get in, get in!" Then a crash, then rapid footsteps on gravel. You peek through the blinds again, careful. The lot is more chaotic. More cars are gone. A couple are abandoned with doors open. The barefoot woman is no longer there. The dog in the car has gone silent, which is its own kind of dread. Two men are sprinting across the lot, looking behind them. One trips and goes down hard. The other turns back, grabs his arm, tries to haul him up. That's human instinct, loyalty. It's also how both of them die if they don't move smart. A figure rushes from behind a car and slams into them. The one standing swings wildly, misses, and the figure clamps onto the fallen man's shoulder with its mouth. The standing man screams and punches the attacker's head, but it doesn't react like a normal person. It stays locked on. You close the blinds again and step away fast. Tara sees your face and doesn't ask questions. She already knows. Night is coming. That's the next major checkpoint. Daylight gives you vision. Night takes it away. Night is when people with bad intentions move. Night is when the infected can get close before you see them. Night is also when exhaustion starts making decisions for you. So you prepare for night in a very unexciting way. You pick a safe corner of the apartment where you can rest without being silhouetted by windows. You turn off unnecessary lights. You tape a towel along the bottom of the front door to block light leakage, not air. Light tells people you're awake and stocked and worth trying. You and Tara agree on a simple rule. If anyone knocks, nobody speaks immediately. You listen first. If the voice sounds normal, you still do not open. If the voice sounds panicked, you still do not open. Day one is full of traps, even accidental ones. Then the building itself tests you again. A loud banging starts on the stairwell door in the hall, not your apartment door, not one thud, multiple, then shouting. Open up. A man's voice, angry, breathless. Open the door. Tara and you look at each other. Neither of you moves. The rules hold. Then another voice, higher pitched, crying, "Please, please, please." Your chest tightens. The instinct screams to help. Helping can be a death sentence if the person is infected, or if they're being chased, or if they're bait. The banging turns into frantic rattling. Then the stairwell door slams hard. Maybe it opened. Maybe it didn't. Then the screaming starts, closer, and it turns into chaos. Multiple feet running, something slamming into walls, a wet choking sound. Tara whispers, "Oh my God." You keep your voice low, stay back from the door. The hallway outside fills with sound for a full minute, then it thins out. Footsteps retreat, a body drags. Something bumps your door lightly and slides away. That is the third lesson of the day. The loudest person does not deserve your door. The loudest person is the one pulling danger toward you. Silence returns, but it isn't safe silence. It's the quiet after the building just changed. Night finally drops. Not sudden. It creeps in. The city outside becomes a pattern of small lights and then fewer lights. A distant glow on the horizon from something burning. Sirens thin out, then stop, then return in bursts. The power flickers again, and this time it doesn't come back right away. The refrigerator dies. The apartment goes dim. The only light is the faint glow from a phone screen and a couple of neighbor windows across the lot. Tara clicks the flashlight on for a second, then off. "No," she whispers, answering her own impulse. "Yeah," you say. "No light." You sit in the darkness and listen, and you realize how many sounds you ignored when the world was normal. Pipes, wind, the building settling, a car alarm that starts and never gets turned off, the distant thump of something heavy hitting something else. And under it all, that low, uneven chorus again. Not one voice, many, scattered across the neighborhood, moving. This is the moment when the guide becomes psychological. Staying calm doesn't mean you're fearless. It means you are choosing to do useful things with your fear. You and Tara agree on a watch schedule, not perfect. 2 hours each, trading off. Whoever is awake sits near the kitchen where the door is visible, but not right in front of it. Whoever sleeps does it with shoes on and backpack close. The first watch is yours. Tara lies down on the living room floor behind the couch, trying to rest. Her eyes stay open for a long time before they finally close. From the peephole, the hallway is a dim tunnel. The emergency exit sign at the far end casts a weak green glow. The stairwell door stands shut. No movement. Then, around midnight, the building's quiet breaks in a different way. Not infected sounds, human sounds. A soft knock travels down the hallway, not on your door, on someone else's. A murmur, a man speaking low, trying not to be heard. Then another murmur, another voice answering. You don't like it. Whispering in the hall means people are organizing, or searching, or negotiating. Any of those can turn into violence fast. The murmurs drift closer, door to door. A pattern forms. Knock, murmur, pause, knock again. They are checking apartments. This is where most people panic and shout, "Go away! Don't do that." Shouting gives away your position and your energy and your fear. It also turns a quiet search into a confrontation. Instead, you wake Tara with a light touch. She sits up instantly, alert, gripping her improvised weapon. You whisper, "People in the hall, knocking on doors." Tara's face tightens. "Looters?" "Could be," you whisper back. "Could be residents. Doesn't matter. We stay silent." The knocking reaches your neighbor's door across the hall. A man whispers, "Anybody in there?" Then a pause. No answer. Then the sound of something metal scraping against a lock. Tara's eyes widen. She silently mouths a word. "No." You grip the heavy pan, but you don't move toward the door. Not yet. If you move, the floor creaks. If the floor creaks, they know you're home. The scraping stops. A soft curse. Then the footsteps shift closer, and the knocking lands on your door. It's gentle at first, then again, slightly firmer. A voice, low. "Hey, you in there?" Every muscle wants to respond. Human instinct, social instinct. Yes, go away. It's a trap. Once they know you're inside, they know the apartment has food and water and batteries. You stay silent. Tara stays silent. Breathing slows. The entire apartment holds still. The voice outside shifts. "We're just checking on people. If you're good, all good." Then the voice changes again, less friendly. "Open up." The door handle jiggles once, then twice. Then the deadbolt turns slightly. Testing, not opening. A tool scrapes against the lock. The sound is quiet but sharp. Somebody is trying to pick it, or pry it, or force it. This is where you decide what your line is. If they get through that door, it becomes close-range panic with unknown people. If you let them work in silence, you lose your only barrier. So you do the one thing that can break their confidence without inviting a fight. You create the impression that the apartment is not an easy target. You do not shout. You do not threaten. You just speak clearly through the door, calm and firm. Not opening. Leave now. The scraping stops. Silence. Then a laugh. Quiet and annoyed. Okay, okay. Footsteps retreat a few feet, then pause. You hear them talking low to each other. Then one of them says, louder now, almost cheerful, "We'll be back." They move down the hall. Tara whispers, "They're coming back." "Yeah," you whisper, "so we don't stay here forever." Morning arrives in pieces, a grey light through blinds, fewer cars outside, more abandoned doors hanging open in the lot, smoke still rising somewhere in the distance. The power is still out. The radio works on batteries. The message has changed. It's less polished, more urgent. The voice on the broadcast says, there are multiple outbreak zones. They keep repeating, shelter in place, but their tone says they don't believe it anymore. Tara's phone catches a single text, one bar flickering in and out, and she reads it with shaking hands. Her sister, a short message. "I'm stuck. People are attacking. I'm hiding." Tara looks up at you, face tight, and you can see the war in her eyes. Stay safe here, or try to move through a city that is becoming a trap. Here's the strict truth. A rescue mission across town on day one is usually a suicide mission. Roads jam, crowds form, people lie. You get boxed in. A single wrong intersection ends you. And if you die trying, you don't save her. You just add 2 more bodies to the chaos. But doing nothing has a cost too. Tara will break emotionally if she feels she abandoned her sister. A broken teammate is a risk. A person who cannot think clearly is a risk. So the solution has to be grounded and possible, not heroic and doomed. You say, we need a closer goal first, not across town. We need a safer position. Then we figure out if moving is possible. Tara nods, swallowing hard. Okay, what position? You choose something realistic for Columbus that doesn't scream, everyone go there. A small office building a few blocks away. Something with locked doors, limited windows, maybe a stairwell and a roof, and fewer residents than an apartment complex. Somewhere the looters don't immediately target for food. You don't tell her it will be easy. You tell her the truth. We move during daylight, quiet, no main roads. We avoid crowds. We avoid stores. We're not hunting supplies. We're hunting a safer spot. Now the packing changes. Less stuff, more mobility. Water and a little food, yes. But you cut weight. You keep the gloves and eye protection. You keep the flashlight. You keep the radio. You add a scarf or bandana, not because it blocks a virus, but because smoke and dust and bad air will make you cough, and coughing is noise. Before leaving, you do one more important thing. You accept you might not come back. That means you don't leave behind the only things that matter, like water, light, and your only medical supplies. The door opens carefully. Hallway is empty. Stairwell door is closed. No fresh noise from below. You and Tara move as a pair, not side by side, slightly staggered. Not because you're trained, because if one of you trips, the other needs room to react. Stairwell first, slow steps, listening at each landing. If the stairwell holds danger, you don't fight in it. You back out, you reroute. Stairwells are funnels. The ground floor lobby smells stale and sweaty. The front glass doors look intact. Outside, the street is quiet in a way that feels staged. Quiet streets on day one are rarely good. Quiet means people already left, or people already died, or the danger is nearby and everyone is hiding. You don't walk straight out. You listen first. You look for movement. Then you step out, keeping your head down, scanning, moving with purpose. Not fast. Fast makes noise. A man sprints across the street a block away and disappears between houses. Something follows him, fast, then slows, then darts again. It moves with a broken urgency that is hard to track. Tara whispers, "Runners?" You don't answer with certainty. Certainty is how people get killed. "Some are fast," you whisper back. "We don't get close enough to learn more." You cut through side streets, using parked cars as cover, avoiding open intersections when possible. Every time you approach a corner, you pause and listen. That's the guide part. Corners kill people. Corners hide threats. Corners create surprise. Surprises are expensive. A siren wails in the distance, then stops abruptly, not fading, cutting off. That could mean a crash, or someone abandoning a vehicle, or an emergency vehicle being blocked. It's not a good sign. 2 blocks in, you find your first real obstacle. An intersection packed with cars, many with doors open. Someone tried to drive through and failed. People left vehicles mid-lane and ran. The road is now a dead maze. That's another lesson. Cars become walls. People imagine driving away. They forget that one crash can seal an entire route. You and Tara detour through a narrow space between a fence and a parked SUV. Glass crunches underfoot. You freeze and wait. Nothing reacts. Still, you step more carefully after that. Small noises add up. A shout erupts from inside one of the cars. A woman's voice, hoarse. "Help me." You stop. Tara stops. Both of you look without moving closer. The woman is in the driver's seat of a sedan, door jammed against another vehicle. Her face is cut. Her hands press against the window. This is the most brutal moment of day one, and it isn't about monsters. It's about limits. If you try to pry that door open, you will spend minutes exposed in a car pileup, with blind angles everywhere. If she is injured, she might be infected. If she isn't infected, the noise of you trying to help will draw attention. Tara whispers, "We can't leave her." You answer quietly, "We can't get trapped here." That's not cold. That's math. If you die here, you save nobody. If you get bitten here, you become a problem later. The best help you can offer is distance, not bravery. You speak loud enough for the woman to hear without stepping closer. "Can you crawl out the passenger side?" She shakes her head hard. "It's blocked. Please." A crash sounds a street over, then another shout, then fast footsteps. Not one set, multiple. The woman's eyes snap toward that sound, and she starts pounding the window with both hands. Panic rises in her voice. "They're coming. Please." Tara takes one step forward before you catch her sleeve. Not yanking, just stopping. Tara looks at you, angry, hurt, ashamed, all at once. You whisper, "If we get boxed in, we're dead. I'm not letting that happen." It's a hard thing to say. It's also the right thing. Tara's eyes water. She nods once, reluctantly. You turn back to the woman and say, "I'm sorry. I can't. Stay quiet. Hide low." It feels awful. It will keep feeling awful. But you keep moving. Because staying to feel awful doesn't change her situation, and it destroys yours. You and Tara slip away between cars, into a backyard, then along a fence line toward the small office building you picked. A plain brick building with a few windows, a side entrance, and a loading door at the back. The place looks closed, which is exactly what you want. No crowds, no open doors, no people waving you over. You approach the side entrance and stop. Listen. Nothing. Try the handle. Locked. Locked is good. Locked means it hasn't been turned into a public shelter. Locked also means you have to decide whether to force entry. Forcing entry is noise and commitment. It's a line you cross and can't uncross. You walk the perimeter first, keeping close to the wall, checking windows for signs of movement. A couple of windows are frosted, office style, no silhouettes, no voices. In the back, the loading door has a simple padlock. Tara looks at it and says, "We can't." Maybe you can. Not with skill, but with tools. If you have none, you don't improvise a loud break-in unless you must. But sometimes must arrives. Before you decide, a sound comes from the street. Slow at first, then faster. Footsteps. Not a sprint, but a purposeful jog. 2 men appear around the corner, both carrying backpacks, both scanning. They see you by the loading door and slow down immediately. One of them raises a hand. "Hey, you guys good?" They're trying to sound normal. That's the red flag. Nobody is normal right now. Tara stiffens beside you. You can feel her wanting to speak, wanting allies. That instinct is dangerous. Allies are earned, not collected. You keep your voice steady. We're fine. Moving on. The other guy looks at the door, then at your backpacks. You all got water? Here's the trick. If you say yes, you become a target. If you say no, they might move on, or they might not believe you. Either way, you don't stand here negotiating. You say, not extra, and start stepping away from the loading door, pulling Tara with you. The first guy shifts sideways to block the path. Not aggressive, but testing. We're not trying to start anything. We just need a place to post up. He's telling you his plan. His plan includes using you or removing you from the equation. You take a half step back and angle your body so you're not squared up. Then find one. We're leaving. The second guy's eyes flick down to your backpack strap and then back up. He smiles without warmth. No reason we can't share. The smile is the moment you decide. This is not a conversation. This is a soft robbery warming up. You do not escalate with threats. Threats invite a fight. You escape. You grab Tara's wrist and move fast around the back corner of the building, staying tight to the wall. The men follow. Faster now, their voices sharper. Hey, hey! Tara breathes hard, trying not to panic. You whisper, don't run straight. We zigzag through yards. You cut through a gap in a fence and into a backyard, then another, then along a line of trash bins. The men's footsteps fade, then return, then fade again. They're searching. A crash somewhere nearby, and a guttural noise makes all of you freeze. The men stop too, their voices lower. For a moment, everyone is listening to the same threat. That gives you the opening. You and Tara move again, slower now, quieter, using that shared distraction to slip away. You end up behind a small strip of businesses, not the office building you wanted. A closed dental clinic, a dry cleaner, a little insurance office with the lights off. All locked. The guide point becomes clear. Plans don't survive contact with day one. You don't get the perfect shelter you pictured. You get what you can secure without dying for it. Tara looks at you, breath shaking. We can't go back. No, you say. We pick a new spot. Something small. Something easy to control. A storage unit facility appears 2 blocks away, fenced with a gate arm and a small office. Not perfect, but it has one huge advantage. It is designed to be locked down. You approach carefully. The gate is open, arm broken or lifted. That's bad. Open means someone already came through. Still, you don't retreat automatically. You observe. No bodies. No voices. No movement visible between rows. The office door is half open, hanging crooked. Tara whispers, no. You nod. Not the office. Instead, you move down the first row, scanning unit doors. Most are closed. Some are dented. One is open a foot and dark inside. You don't walk into dark spaces blind. That's a rule. Dark spaces hide surprises. Surprises kill. So you back out of the row and choose a different line. An exterior stairwell to a second-level row. Higher means fewer random walk-ins. Higher also means harder to flee. Again, every option has teeth. You climb quietly. At the top, you find a unit door that is shut and intact. No dents. No pry marks. You listen at it. Nothing. You check the lock. It's a simple latch with a padlock. Neither of you has a key, so you stop pretending. This shelter is not available. And that's the moment you accept the truth you've been circling all day. In the first 24 hours, you do not find shelter. You either already have shelter, or you make shelter by securing what you can. You and Tara retreat from the storage units and choose the least dramatic option. A small, single-story business with a rear door and minimal windows. An accounting office. A place with blinds already down. The back door is locked. The window beside it is small and high. You don't smash it. Smashing draws attention. Instead, you look for what real people overlook. Weaknesses left by normal life. A side window that doesn't latch fully. A back vent. A cheap door frame. A bathroom window. You find it. A narrow bathroom window, slightly cracked open, probably left that way for air. Not wide, but possible. Now the entry becomes a quiet, careful process. Gloves on, glasses on. You don't rush the window, you widen it slowly and test for alarms. If an alarm goes off, you abandon the attempt immediately. Alarms bring people and noise. No alarm, just a stiff hinge, a squeal you control with pressure. Tara keeps watch while you work. One person acts. One person guards. That's how you avoid getting blindsided. You slip in first, feet feeling for the floor, flashlight briefly on, and then off. The bathroom is cramped and smells like cheap cleaner. No movement, no shadows shifting. You open the bathroom door slowly. The office beyond is empty, chairs tucked in, files on desks, a coffee mug left behind. That normality is eerie, but it's also a clue. People left fast. They didn't loot this place. Yet. You signal Tara in. She climbs through carefully, breathing hard. Once she's inside, you close the bathroom window again and wedge it shut with whatever is nearby, even a piece of wood from a cabinet back if you have to. Then the front door gets checked from inside. Locked. Good. You don't unlock it. You keep every barrier you can. Now you have something you can use. A temporary shelter away from the apartment building, away from the looters, with fewer unknown neighbors. Not a fortress, a pause point. Tara sits on the floor and finally lets herself shake. "I hate this," she says, voice cracking. "I know," you answer, "but we're still breathing." And you both understand what that really means. You didn't solve the apocalypse. You just survived long enough to enter the next hour,